Right, welcome back to my Ayrton Senna driver career mode here on F1 24. This is round number 2 of season 3, and let's just say round 1 at the season opener in Bahrain didn't go brilliantly. I already knew that our car wasn't very quick. In fact, if we look at this, we are currently, P6 overall. We are equal with the Sauber, and our gap to Red Bull is larger than the gap to Alpine. It's troubling times here at McLaren. So yeah, I knew the car was going to be bad, but it was a lot worse than I thought it would be, because it was decently fast-ish. I managed to get a P7 in the season opener, but it was just so unfun to drive. Oversteering out of every corner, the braking was different every single lap. It was an absolute nightmare. Today though, at Jeddah, I'm a lot more optimistic, because Jeddah is easily in my top 3 fastest tracks. I'm actually quite decent around here, so I'm hoping for a bit of a better result, much more what we're used to in previous seasons, you know, like on the podium, that kind of thing. So let's get to qualifying and aim for a top 7, I'm gonna go for. Alrighty-yo, welcome to qualifying. I want to quickly just say before we start, if you could please like the video, because I told you to, and also do consider subscribing. I am grinding really hard in the month of December to try and hit 1.5k by the end of the year. Come along and join the boys and girls and those of unspecified genders. Anyway, let's move on. Now, I forgot to mention that, of course, with my R&D modifier I have on, Red Bull have once again had to take another upgrade off their car. So hopefully they'll be a little bit more beatable today. As you can see, Lando Norris has put in a time of a 1 minute 26.15 and is P3. Ew. Okay, Lando's come out the doors like booming this season. He got like what, top 5 in or like a top 7 in Bahrain in qualifying. He's P3 right now. Let's get out on track myself, and that's the target time we're going for, a 26.15. Yeah, I reckon I can beat that. Alright, here we go then. Hot lap number 1. Now, of course, a track like Jeddah, there's walls, it's a street track, it's high speed. You need a lot of luck and driving talent. I have neither of those things, so let's see how we get on. Round the final corner to open up the lap. And that was actually a really nice opening of the lap. I really like that. We'll use quite a lot of ERS down this main straight, and we go into turn 1 now. That braking was a little bit on the late side, but we'll still get it in there. Car feels very direct. Oh, I like that. I do like that a lot. This corner's always scary. Send it in. That was pretty nice. Oh, big snap of oversteer. Massive snap of oversteer. I've hit the wall. Right, that hasn't gone entirely well. We will carry on and maybe have a decent Sector 2 and pull this lap back. Sector 1 is usually where I gain some time, though. And, half a second down on Piastri is not what you want to see. That's going to put a lot of pressure on me in my final run to actually clutch up and, you know, not crash, I think would be ideal. Alright, so even though the car does feel a lot better than Bahrain, I've noticed that in the high speed it seems to lose grip mid-corner, which you don't really want, to be honest. So, for example, I'll go through here, it will snap like there. So, I have to be a bit careful in the high speed. Not ideal. Now, of course, this lap is already pretty much done because of that mistake in Sector 1. But I'm still going to finish it, and hopefully finish out strong. Give myself a little bit of practice for my final run. Out the final corner, a little bit more on the exit, but it's okay. Could have used way more ERS as well. We crossed the line with a 27 dead, and even with that mistake that lost me about half a second, I'm not last. The thing that's concerning me, though, is that I reckon I can go about 6 tenths quicker. I don't think 6 tenths puts me... Actually, a 6 tenths would do a 26.4. Lando was a 26.1. So that is quite troubling. I'm going to have to find nearly a second in my second lap if I want to beat Lando. That's quite a tall order, really, isn't it? Alright, this is going to be a little bit tight with time, to be honest. I don't even know if I can make it. Oh, it's going to be so tight. I'm not even going to be able to take my wide line through the final corner. I just got to gas it now and hope. Okay, I will make it. I think this game is bugged, by the way. You remember when I said earlier, Lando did a 26.1? Now the game is telling me that he did a 26.3, which I don't think he did. But anyway, we need to lock in and try and put a really nice lap together. Here we go. Now remember, this is where I lost a lot of time on the exit of this corner, so let's get it in. Try not to have that snap of oversteer, which I haven't, and you can just see the time flowing in, but there's a Sauber in the way! Holy moly, that was close! That could have been the end of my life right there and then, and yet I didn't actually lose that much time. I only lost about half a tenth. Lovely. So that is going to be 8 tenths up through Sector 1. Let's try and get a boom of an exit. Oh, that was very nice. 1 second up now. We need to absolutely send it through here like we're silly. I like to brake a little bit earlier, get close to the wall, avoid the oversteer. Ew, that was nice. Now, there isn't much time to gain through this corner. I'm just going to try and match myself. Here we go, on the brake, send it in. No, I've gone even quicker. Hang on a minute here. There is something truly special occurring. I'm going to try and not undo a Verstappen 2021 and bin it on the final corner. Here we go. On the brakes, a little bit on the early side, but if we get it in, hit the apex, get on the exit. Ooh, that's good. ERS on. Mate, that is a good lap time. A 25.7 puts us where? Okay, you know what? That is a top quality result. Unexpected, some would say. If you told me I was going to get a P3, I would have said, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And as you can see, the gap to the top two was quite large, so I don't actually mind that. If it was like only half a tenth between the top two, I would have been a little bit annoyed. But look at this. Lance Stroll, P2, 300ths away from pole position. That's just not accurate, is it? And also, shout out Sergio Perez in the RB, qualifying P4, splits us McLarens. That is, although he did get beat by an RB, although to be fair, RB is the car above us in the performance thing, so actually that's not that big of a deal. Lando, P5, that's a really good result. Ahead of one of the Aston Martins, ahead of one of the Red Bulls. That's a good job from Lando. Only 700ths off me. That's very nice. You go into the race starting P3 and P5. Hopefully, there is a good points haul on the horizon. Let's go find out. And here we go. I am feeling so confident ahead of this race. Like, I feel like I'm about to just go and set 25 fastest laps in a row. Realistically, though, what's going to happen is I'm going to mess up the start, lose 3 positions, fight my way back to P3, and then probably crash near the end. That's a more realistic race story. I'm feeling very good, though. I think we're on for a good result, which is exciting times, really. So here we are on the grid, and the game is actually telling me to go on the soft tyres. Now, I'm never against using the soft tyres. They are nowhere near used enough in strategies, but the thing that always concerns me is the lap times. As you can see at the start, we will be rocking like, I don't know, 29 deads, but then by the end, we're doing 31s. Whereas if I switch to a hard medium strategy, what's my lap times looking like? So it's going to be, what? It's actually like, so it says that we're going to be slower, but as you can see, the slowest hard time we're going to be doing is like a 29.6, whereas the mediums is only a 30.5, but the softs go all the way. I think we go with this. I think we stop a lap earlier. I like that strategy. I think we give that a go, and we go from there. So without further ado, everything's ready. Let's start this Grand Prix up. Needing a big points haul here to make a little bit of a comeback, a little bit of a chip into Red Bull and Aston Martin's lead. Here we go. Right, here we go. We're off right now. Car hasn't bottomed out. I still don't know how that ever happens, but I have managed it. We go into turn 1. Shut up. Get round the outside. Go on. Stick it in. I don't think any of you understand what's just happened. I have gained a place off the start of a race. That has never happened before in the history of me playing this game. What times are we living in? Now let's lock in. We have got Max Verstappen up ahead. We are already ahead of the Aston of Lance Stroll. Let's just try and stick with Verstappen. I wouldn't say a win is on here, but you know, you just don't know with these things. Maybe I have got the race pace of Ayrton Senna himself. You just don't know. Now, of course, tyre preservation is going to be a big thing in this race. We are using soft tyres for 7 laps. I might take it a little bit easy. I'm not going to go full-blown attack like I normally do. I'm just going to keep myself nice and composed. You know what I mean? Fastest sector 2 though, and as you can see, Lando Norris is also up to P4, so both the McLarens on the move. Checo Perez drops behind Fernando Alonso. That's a rough start for him. But we finished lap 1, and I'm only 0.6 behind Verstappen. That's a really good start, and the fastest sector 2 and 3. That's like really, really good. I still can't believe I overtook a car off the start. That has literally never happened in this game. Maybe once or twice. Incredible work by Fat Krim. I have already managed to get 1 second clear of Lance Stroll, and look who's close by. Hello, Verstappen. I might play this a bit patiently. I'm not going to go for the move directly into this corner. I want to make sure that I have DRS. Let's try and go around the outside and maybe do a little bit of a switchback maneuver going on. There you go. Just get the exit. Now we go full overtake. DRS. Come on then. Let's have you, Dutch bastard. Come on. 4-time world champion. Absolutely not, mate. Round the outside into turn 1. Bosh! Up to P1 for Fat Krim. What a driver. Oh, that was a lovely move. Lando Norris on the move as well, fighting with Lance Stroll to get into the podium places. And the boys are cooking. We are on fire right now. See, like, when I drive a McLaren F1 car, this is how I expect it to feel. This is how it felt during Season 1 and the first half of Season 2. You just sort of, you trust it. Do you know what I mean? You swing it into a corner, you come out the other side with the fastest sector. It's brilliant. I do have to be careful with Verstappen though. He's not going to go for a move down this straight. The AI, surprisingly, aren't that stupid. The real danger area is going to be down these next 2 straights. Now, I'm not too bothered about staying ahead of Verstappen. I don't mind using about half my ERS tank, but realistically, if he's going to go by, I will be stopping a lap earlier anyway, so I can just get a tow and then undercut him. So, it's looking pretty good, to be honest. Lando Norris also fighting Lance Stroll around the final corner. Get a little look at that in the bottom left of your screen. Here comes Verstappen, though. Oh, Nelly. Down the inside, we have brakes at about the same distance. I'm going to have to give him space. Down the inside, and we have managed to defend. And somehow, Fernando Alonso has got both Norris and Stroll. That's kind of annoying, really. I was hoping that Norris could get by Stroll and, like, stay ahead of Stroll, but evidently not. Okay, that's a bit tough, but it's not the end of the world. Come on, Lando, we believe in you. Downside is, though, obviously Fernando is going to be the quicker of the 2 Aston Martins, and they have the second best car. He might just gap Lando Norris, and then we'll be in the mud. But come on, Lando, keep fighting. All right, hello, Verstappen, round number 3, here we go. Can I even avoid the slipstream here? To be honest, I'd rather the outside line into turn 1, but he's not even going to get close enough to go for a move into turn 1. I did have to use my entire ERS tank. Honestly, not the end of the world. We are stopping in 2 laps time after all. I would actually rather deplete my entire ERS. Oh, that's not good. Can I not crash for a second? Cheers. As I was saying, I don't mind using my whole ERS tank to defend. I'd rather be ahead of him when I go into the pits. Do you know what I mean? But here he comes, though. What's this? Is a crazy overtake attempt. I tell you what, this geezer, one little error from me, another little error like I did in Sector 1, and he's all over me, and I'm finished. Right, Verstappen is not leaving me alone. This geezer is determined to pass me. Here he comes round the outside. I am going to defend into the final corner. Of course, now there's another DRS zone, another little clock with a wall. I realise I've only hit the wall when I'm commentating. There's no coincidence in that, surely. Down the main straight, like I said, I'd rather the outside line here. Can I even fight into turn 1? I can fight, but I don't know how hard I can fight. Here we go. He's got to give me some space on the inside. Who's got the better exit? It's going to be Verstappen. And hang on. Who's that guy? Somehow, I don't know if it's just because of me and Verstappen's bickering, but Lando Norris, Alonso and Stroll have all caught up to us now. They're only 1.6 behind. Now, we are stopping this lap, and as you can tell by Verstappen getting further away by the millisecond, my tyres are pretty much done. As you can see, 30% on the rears is not what you want to see from your rear tyres. But we are going to put the undercut in motion, and I'm hoping the medium tyres are going to be quite strong. Luckily for me as well, I'm going to have DRS on Verstappen, which is going to give me a nice little tow and some extra lap time. It's also important, of course, to stay ahead of Alonso by at least over a second, so that Lando can actually have a go on him. As I say that, speaking of devil, there goes Lando. And for some reason, he just cannot get that place. But here we go. It's my time to stop. In we come for my first and only pit stop of the Jeddah Grand Prix. Now, one thing that is going to trouble me here is that will Lando pit on lap, well, this lap, like the next lap, or the lap after? Because if he pits on this lap at the end of lap 8, that's what you want. That would be an ideal strategy. But knowing McLaren, they'll pit him the next lap, and that will completely ruin his actual very decent drive so far. So when we come on the exit of the pits, now it's imperative, if that's even the right word, that I put in a very, very strong lap time here. On my outlap, it is truly outlap critical, so that I can undercut Verstappen, or at least just increase my gap to the other cars. And I will say, it's early stages, it's weird. The turning's slow, but the grip is very much there. Right, let's take a look at the bottom left and see who stops. Max Verstappen is in? Yes, Verstappen is in, and that is exactly what I was saying. Lando Norris stays out for no reason. Because of that, he is now going to get undercut by pretty much the entire field. We'll forget about him, though, because what's more important is me against Verstappen. I've put him a pretty decent lap time. There he is at pit exit. Oh, I'm miles gone. Into turn 1, and I'm just straight out of here. There is Verstappen. That is the power of the undercut. I have gained about 3 seconds because of it. So when you look at Lando Norris's position, he was fighting with about 5 cars. He is definitely about to drop behind all of them. So that's going to be very cooked. I wish there was actually a radio message. I know it's like you don't get it in real life, of course you don't, but there was an option to like tell your teammate to stop. Like, I feel like that would be a cool option, because right now if he stopped, he'd be going on for a P3 or a P4, but because of it, he might not even finish in the points now. It's very cooked. It's like Sergio Perez in real life getting self-sabotaged by his team for no reason. So as you can see, Lando is now in alongside one of the other Mercedes, and we can now see how far behind everyone he is going to be. Oh, this is going to be a tough watch. So of course he's going to be behind me, and he's going to be behind Verstappen, but we're looking at the rest of the field behind them. As I also take the fastest lap. I tell you what, the car is on fire right now, and in a good way, not like actually on fire, but let's see. Lando on pit exit, as you can see, has dropped to about P7 or P8. And that is exactly what I was talking about, because of the power of the undercut. So, McLaren, you've sort of done yourselves in there. You've denied us of potentially a P1 and P3. Now it's looking like it's going to be a P1, P7. And that's just tough. 8 laps remaining in this race. Gap to Verstappen is 2.2 seconds. And honestly, I'm feeling extremely good. So I'm hoping to obviously just keep this lead and just stay out ahead of Verstappen until the checkered flag. Tyre wear is looking a little bit bleak. I've only been on these tyres for like, I don't know, it's like 2% a lap, which ain't actually that bad. I think I can keep at this pace until the end, and the car will hold on. But we'll have to see. Usually when it gets to about 20% wear is usually when it starts to go a bit wrong. That's quite annoying. We have 5 laps remaining, and somehow Charlie has taken fastest lap off me. I don't think I've got the tyres to actually go and beat his lap time. I would need DRS for that. But yeah, 5 laps remaining, still vibing hard. Did you see that? I got that objective of avoid tyres staying like above a certain temperature and failed almost instantly. That's pretty cool, but yeah, still locked in, setting very consistent lap times. Gap to Verstappen is still 2.5, 2.7 seconds, and it's looking real good. It's looking real good. 3 laps remaining, and to be honest, if I could bring this home and it stays as it is, this will be one of the best medium stints, or just stints, I have ever done. The consistency that I have shown is just truly outrageous. I'm cooking right now. Gap to Verstappen, 2.9. Feeling real good. And here we go. Final lap of the race. I think it's time we dump some of my ERS. and, I don't know, try and set the best lap of the race. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's give it a go. As I said before, if I bring this home, which is looking like I will, one of the best drives I've ever done, easily one of my best, like, stints. The consistency has been on a whole other level on these medium tyres. The car has been genuinely, like, incredible to drive. I don't even know how you can make a car this nice. It is astounding to me. And, you know, we are still P6 on that, you know, vehicle performance thing. But somehow, here at Jeddah, I'm about to win a race. I did say at the start of the episode that Jeddah is one of my better tracks. You can tell it just is. But this was like, this is special, do you know what I mean? Verstappen, you have been severely diffed in this race. My fuel, let's check that, that's all fine. Tyres, incredibly worn, but... oh, what a drive! Swinger through here one last time. Whoa, rear's getting a bit snappy, it's all good though. We can now make our way down the back straight, and honestly, when I saw where we are in that vehicle performance comparison, when I saw the lack of upgrades that we are bringing, to say that on round 2, I would be back on the top step is just not something I was expecting. Ayrton Senna at Jeddah, Fat Crim wins again. Come on! That is one of the most rewarding wins I have ever had in this game, because that is on. I always say this, but like, it's like, I don't play on 110 AI, right? There's only 3 tracks on this game I use 110 AI. Jeddah, Monaco, and Baku. That's it. So I'm on 110 AI. Verstappen is hounding me, setting almost identical laps than me every single lap. You saw on lap number 8, the gap was 2.5 seconds. Lap 18, it's still 2.5 seconds. One little error from me would have, you know, lost me the race. And obviously, if I do make a little bit of an error, I would usually just cut it out. I'm not afraid to admit that. If I crash, I cut it out. But I didn't use a single flashback that entire race. Whew! I tell you what as well, my hands are killing me. What a race. I mean, a bit boring, don't get me wrong, but like I said, you know, at Bahrain, it doesn't have to be an entertaining race. It just has to be fun to drive, which that was. Hoist that trophy, mate. What a driver you are, and of course I am, because I'm you and you're playing, and you get what I mean. So here's the final results of the Senna. I just tried to mix Senna and Jeddah, it didn't work. Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, round 2 is done. Ayrton Senna converts a P3 to a P1 on the day. Missed out on fastest lap by just over a 10th.5, although that lap was on the soft tyres. I think if I dumped my ERS on my like 3rd or 4th lap on the medium tyres, I might have got it, but it's no massive deal. Lando Norris goes from P5 to P8. Like I said, because he stopped on lap 9 and not lap 8, obviously I stopped on lap 7, he probably would have finished P3 or P4 in this race, getting him an extra 10 points. But because of McLaren not being the wisest up in here somewhere, he finishes P8 because of the strategy. Tough race for Lando, but let's go and take a look at these standings. The drivers, that's what we want to see. It's a shame that my opener at Bahrain was so stinky, because I could have been ahead by now if I finished like P4 in that race. To be fair, what I got, P7 was definitely the maximum. Maybe not. So Max Verstappen sits on 36 points. I sit on 31. We have Leclerc on 29. We've got Alonso and Stroll on 27. I know we're only 2 races in, but 9 points between the top 5 is quite close. Lando Norris 22 points behind, having a decent outing in Bahrain, finishing, I believe, P5. Just a very stinky Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, which again, like I said, isn't really his fault. Now, the Constructors looks like this. We have a 9-point gap to Red Bull. Still anyone's game, of course. 18 points back. Wait, that's not even Red Bull. That's Aston Martin. I just assumed it was Red Bull because Verstappen's here. But, of course, Ollie Behrman hasn't scored a point yet. Maybe sacking Checo was the bad idea, seeing as he sits on 14 points. So, Aston actually lead by 9, Red Bull in 3rd, 18 behind. And one thing I want to show you before I go is these lap times. I've not seen them for myself yet, but I know that they were pretty good. Here we go. I mean, I know I said I was driving pretty consistently, but that's absolutely ridiculous. 28-1, 28-3, 28-4, 28-4, 28-4, 28-5, 28-5, 28-4. That is outrageous consistency. That's some of the, you know what, screenshot that. I'm posting that on Twitter. Not really, that's a bit sad. But anyway, that's going to be all from me today for another episode of my Ayrton Senna driver career. I told you at the start of this episode I was feeling a lot more optimistic about this race. And we go from P7 and misery to a win and absolute joy. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you lot tomorrow for some Has to Glory. Goodbye. So, what a race. Come on.